Here I'd like to give an introduction and a bit of history behind the actual form itself, okay? The beggar stick form that I'll be teaching. Now, this beggar stick form was actually created by my father, Grandmaster Yap Cheng Hai. And I'd like to tell a short story about it. Now, my father was born and he grew up in Singapore. And in fact, it was during the war years, in the 1930s, right? When the Japanese occupied Singapore. And he was a teenager, a young teen at that time. And he always had an interest in martial arts. And so besides learning martial arts, he loved weapons. And of course, under the occupation of the Japanese, that was very strict. And the only so-called accessible weapon is a stick, the humble stick, which is, something which is easily available and fairly innocent. So he learned the stick. And not only did he learn the stick, he used to hang out with a group of people. Some of them were young, some of them were also quite a mixed age of people. And all these were very enthusiastic martial artists. And not only that, they were very keen stick fighters. So they would have matches between each other with sticks. And of course, there will be certain rules, and so that you do not have very serious damage. But obviously, you would have the usual, bruises, busted thumbs and fingers, and so on, right? And they had a simple rule in those days, which my father told me, and which gave them great incentive to improve on their skill. Because, as you know, anybody who deals with weapons or uses weapons will always have their favorite weapon, be it a sword or in this case a stick. So being a stick fighter, everyone would have their favorite stick, which they prized highly and which they, would take care of, they'll polish it and so on. So the rule of the stick fight was very simple. So in a match, if the person who loses the match will have to hand over his weapon to the winner. So that was a great incentive, not to lose your stick in that sense. So it was a great incentive to improve your stick fighting art. And that was the premise by which, he learned to use a stick and learn about stick fighting in those days, you see. And so after the many years that he has been participating in stick fighting, I think more than 10 years, and when he settled down into more adult life, and he started to teach martial arts here in Kuala Lumpur, he decided to put all the techniques and the accumulated experience that he gained in his many years of stick fighting and put it into a form, so that it could be remembered, and it could be passed on. And that is the outcome, and this is the creation story, you can say, behind this beggar stick form. So the form has very few movements. There's only about 9 movements, if I'm correct, and maybe more, but it's around there, about 9 to maybe 10 or 11 movements. And it is highly practical because the history behind it is such that it was the accumulated experience and the applications of stick fighting that went into the creation of this form by my father, Grandmaster Yap Cheng Hai. And so that is the history behind this actual form itself.